What's up, everyone, and welcome to TVCaptive.com presents the As Seen on TV podcast for the Vampire Diaries season finale, season 5, episode 22. Home.
Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Okay, you can continue now.
I am your host, Omikins.
No.
And with me is my co-host, me. AKA me. No, I am Dom. That is Omikins. What is going on? Chaos.
Complete chaos.
Anarchy.
Oh, not so much anarchy.
Anarchy.
No, that's just the symbol for A, which we still have to figure out.
That's anarchy.
No.
Yes. Why do I have a hat in the middle of the forest?
Just in case it rains.
Yes. So, here we are, season finale of the Vampire Diaries. Oh, and I forgot last episode to address what I was going to address about that, and told everybody I was going to do it at the end of the episode, and I didn't.
Oh, way to go.
I'll have to do it in this episode. After a very lackluster season,
Yes.
going from Catherine to hinting at the Travelers, to the Augustine vampires,
Yeah.
to the Travelers, and then to Marcos.
Marcus.
This season has been all over the place.
And you know what? It did go all over the place, but it didn't seem like it was. It seemed like it was kind of like on the same line the whole time, and it was really boring. But it did go all over the place, which I didn't really notice until you said something.
It seemed like 4 different seasons from
Not really.
the different parts.
It would be way more exciting if it was 4 different seasons.
Well, I just mean because there was like 4 separate story arcs.
Yeah.
Each was almost its own little season, but there was this overall theme of the Travelers, and I think it was the fact that I hated the Travelers that really killed this season for me. I thought they were very uninteresting. I didn't think they were super threatening. I mean, I guess they were threatening, but
I don't know. I mean, I kind of enjoyed the beginning with Katsaya and Silas. It seemed like it was... Wait, was that last season? No, that was this season,
It was
right?
the beginning of this season.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. The beginning was all right. I actually kind of liked that. But then the Travelers from that point on were always in the backseat, and they were always looming, and they made it hard for you to forget. If they would just poke out and been like, hey, we're the Travelers, guess what? We have problems for you. You have to solve them. It would have been a lot more interesting. But, I mean, you always knew about it. It was always in the back of your head because they always made it kind of there.
Yeah, I hated the Travelers. That's really what it came down to. Like, the Augustine seemed super interesting to me when they introduced it, and Damon had this, like, secret side to him, and, like, Enzo, and I was super fascinated with that. And then the Augustines ended up going nowhere.
Yeah,
It just seemed like filler. It was there for the purpose of stalling.
Filler. I always hated filler, especially in anime.
Yeah, and that's just what that seemed like.
Yeah.
Like, if this whole season was about the Augustine, and they really spent time developing the Augustine and putting a lot more history, it could have been a lot better. But they squeezed it in there amongst all this other crap that was going on. It was completely unnecessary. There was no reason for the Augustines to be in this season. None whatsoever.
Yeah, now that you categorized it as filler, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm even more disappointed with this season overall now.
I ruined something that was already a piece of shit for you. I'm kidding. It wasn't a piece of shit, but
no.
It was
on the weak
I'm a
side.
huge fan of this show. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of this show. This season, ugh.
Yeah, it wasn't fun at all. I mean, it was almost, at the point where you're dreading to watch the show, just because you don't want to hear more whining about the travelers.
Yep. All right. So anyway, let's get into the actual episode.
Mm-hmm.
Took us long enough, right? One of the very first things we see is Lexi.
And I was very happy about that.
I didn't think of it for whatever reason. I didn't think Lexi was going to be around.
Neither did I. But I'm glad she was.
Yeah. And what does she do? She saved Stefan his whole life. Here he is in death. Because Stefan died last episode. Here he is in death. And she saves Stefan again from getting sucked off into the unknown of the other side. Wherever that was going.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to see Lexi. It was really nice to see her.
Yeah, she's always a, kind of, fresh air kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do you word that? A breath of fresh air?
Yeah. She's the very definition of fresh air. I need to find a dictionary now. Where is she? She's not in the dictionary. So no.
Wrong show.
She's not in
She's not in there
either. No. I don't know. Why do I have shield notes in the middle of a forest? So Enzo.
Tahiti.
Yes, Tahiti. So Enzo comes through, says he's gonna find another traveler to cast a spell and get everybody back. It ends up being Silas. Did you have any idea that we were gonna see Silas again?
No, I thought he was goners. Because he took the cure and died immortal, not supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it. But hey, there he is. Someone explain that one to me, please.
Because he was a traveler. He was an immortal being. He took the thing that made him...
Oh, he made him back.
Okay, whatever again, but he's still a traveler.
He's still a traveler. He became mortal, but he's still a traveler, which means he's still supernatural. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Clarification.
So, I was expecting it to be Julian that was the traveler that was going to cast it back, because we see Marcos bring Tyler over the boundary, right, into Mystic Falls, stripped him of his hybrid side, stripped him of his werewolf trigger, right?
Right.
Left him with a broken neck, and as Marcos put it, just a boy with the werewolf gene, which leads me to believe werewolves are not spirit magic.
They're not. They have to be.
The gene stayed. If the gene was spirit magic, it would have left when he crossed the other side. So there's our answer to this question we have been dying to find the answer out to. Werewolves have not been created with spirit magic.
No, it's a Mother Nature kind of thing.
Mm.
And so I'm guessing travelers are a Mother Nature kind of thing as well.
Could be.
Having the magic is sort of a gene that started off kind of like a mutation, evolution.
Yeah, because the travelers were able to stay in there and be able to use spells and all that fun stuff. And So, yeah. So, yeah, I was expecting after Tyler died and all that him and Julian would be on the other side. And I figured Julian was going to be the one that ends up casting the traveler spell.
Yeah, but I mean, he was probably. I mean, you look at Julian. I mean, his wife got killed, and he blames it on those people's, like Stefan, Damon, all of them. So I don't know if he'd want to come back and help them. Like he got sucked away in
Right.
like right away.
He was
like
just the
his
first
wife.
one that I was thinking of, because I'm like, what
Yeah.
other traveler are they gonna... Silas totally flew over my head. Didn't even expect him to be there.
Yeah, that was actually
I know.
a nice twist.
I know it was an episode or two ago when Mike was on, or it might have even been a few weeks ago. I had asked Mike if he thought we were going to see Silas at some point again, like on the other side, and he I think he said that Silas was done. So I don't think any of us were expecting Silas whatsoever. Nope. So this is kind of a neat little thing. Silas wasn't really a character I was too invested in, but it's kind of neat seeing him again. So then, not only we were talking about the werewolves not being spirit magic, but hunter instincts are witch magic, because Jeremy had stated that he crossed the boundary over, and every time he went over and he realized where he hated Damon less and less was where the boundary was. That's how he was able to determine where the boundary, the spell was. But
well, maybe his hunter instincts were enhanced when he stepped over. Is that how he...
No, he said it was the other way around. He said when he hated Damon less when he stepped over on the other side, the hunter instincts makes him hate Damon more.
That was actually a really entertaining line from Jeremy.
Yeah, it was. But this brings back the question, being brought back from the dead by spirit magic isn't considered spirit magic. And shouldn't he have died when he crossed the town line again?
I don't know.
He died at the end of last season.
Yeah.
Bonnie brought him back in the final episode of last season and sacrificed herself in his place.
There are quite a bit of loopholes, because even the Gilbert ring. So, I mean, you see Matt go back and forth over the boundary. Shouldn't he have died a couple times over?
Exactly.
I don't know.
So, plot holes. We need answers, Julie.
Please.
Need answers. The ghosts of all the main characters, they spent a large portion of this episode looking for Alaric.
Alaric?
But Alaric was nowhere to be found. Did you think he was going to make it through? This is something we had been kind of hoping for on the side, and I even mentioned last episode that there had been no mention of Alaric up to this episode. That I
but then
was
Damon
sure
did
we were going to see him. But it was
Damon.
like one of the first things in this episode. He goes, our buddy Alaric is over there. Like, before he may have mentioned Stefan, but he meant Alaric was the next one out of his mouth.
Yeah, which, I mean, Enzo was his best friend. Oh my god, no mention of Alaric for like how many episodes, and now Alaric is a thing again? It's actually kind of annoying.
Yeah. So, like, it was intentional. I know it was. They were trying to get him off the trail ever since the 100th episode where they teased him in our face, and then we haven't seen him, again since.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from him. There was no mention of him again, so I had a feeling there was going to be a plot involving Alaric. But then when they started talking about him and we didn't see him, and they were spending a lot of time looking for him, I go, they're not going to find him. But they ended up finding him. Where do you think he was hiding the whole time?
You're not really hiding in that realm. You just kind of show up when you want to show up. So, I mean, he was probably just chillaxing and kind of watching over everything. And then he decided, oh, I guess they're looking for me. They need me. Here I come.
Yeah. He ended up, the place where they ended up finding him was at the Mystic Grill.
Mm-hmm.
But they were in there looking for him earlier in that episode, and he wasn't there, so who the hell knows? They went to the high school, they went everywhere you could possibly think of that he'd be, and they couldn't find him anywhere. But Damon's hero hair from last episode actually paid off here. He's the one, He saved the day. He rescued everybody. He had the help of Sheriff Forbes, Matt, Jeremy. They all played this little part in blowing up the Mystic Grill with all the travelers inside.
Yeah.
At this point, Damon's dead. Stefan's dead. Elena's dead. At this point, we kind of had to realize that there's some kind of plan to bring them back.
Oh,
they can't all be dead.
No.
So we had not only say goodbye to all these characters, say goodbye to the Mystic Grill. This has been like the staple of the series outside of the high school. Like, this has been the only other major location in this series.
One of the only locations in history that have a permit to serve alcohol to underage people. But yeah, blow the shit up. It's fine.
They have a permit to serve underage people?
I have no idea, but kids were getting drunk there all the freaking time.
Who?
From the very first freaking episode in season 1, kids were just going in there being like, yeah, I'll have that one. The really sparkly, smelly kind that will throw me through for a loop and make me fall off my chair. I want that one.
I was under the impression that Elena and Caroline and all those who were getting the drinks at the bar were 21 at the time.
No, it's been going on for seasons.
Yeah, I thought in season 1 they were 21.
They were still in high school, Sierra.
I was 21 in high school. My last year of high school, I was 21.
Is this an American thing that I don't know about?
I don't know. At grade 12, I was 21.
I was 17 in grade 12.
Where was it? I gotta think now. It might have been the summer after graduation. I don't know. Hold on. I know what year. I gotta do the math real quick. I gotta find. I'm terrible at math. I gotta pull up a calculator.
Where is the Jeopardy theme song? We need it.
No. Calculator. All right. Let's see. I graduated then. Okay, I was 18. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Fuck that bar. Where was that bar when I was in high school?
In Mystic Falls, of course.
I'm terrible at keeping track of dates and stuff, as we clearly see. Prove me wrong. I hate that. You're the best at proving me wrong.
I am.
So, yeah. Well, goodbye, Mystic Grill Bar and underage alcohol serving place that I need to time travel to. When the grill goes and all the travelers inside die with it, before passing back through Bonnie, Marco states that they're just going to overwhelm Bonnie and come back again. I didn't even think that was a thing until they said it. Did that ever cross your mind at any point beforehand?
Well, no, not really. But as soon as he was just saying it, like the first words that came out of his mouth, I'm like, oh, bitch, please! You are not coming back. You are staying the fuck over there.
Yeah. I was shocked. I'm like, how are they going to defeat him at this point? I go, oh, no. So now they're in a scramble because they got to get their body. They all warp back to the Mystic Grill, and it's a race to get all the heroes back to Bonnie, get them all on the other side, and stop the spell, and close the other side permanently. Yada yada yada, before the travelers can pass through Bonnie, go back to the grill, and then come all the way back to the graveyard. So in that time, Luke, Enzo, Tyler, Elena, Stefan, and Alaric, in that order, all make it back. But not Damon.
No, because Luke fucked that up.
Luke fucked that up.
He fucked it up. I hope they find him and they slaughter him.
Did you expect Damon not to make it through?
I expected him to waltz through and be skipping. But no. Fuck.
Yeah.
So mad. I was so mad. I was like, no. I don't even want to watch the rest of this shit. I am done. Fuck it. I was so mad. So mad.
Damon is clearly the fan favorite of this show. Without this show, without Damon rather, there would be no show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously he's not gone, but how the fuck are they gonna get him back to life?
We have a theory on that. We did talk in pre-show. We will be talking about that at the end because it involves spoilers with the books, possibly. So we'll bring that up at the end of the podcast. Remind me, because we forgot. But at the very end, we'll bring this up. But if Elena didn't get in the car with Damon, do you think he would have made it back in time?
It's possible.
He spent a portion of it looking for Elena.
Yes. So yes, I mean, if Lena wasn't being her dumb self, he probably would have made it back. And doing he would have, he would have saved the sheriff and he would have found Alaric and made it back in time. Because Alaric's like, I'll take care of her. You stay here or do what the hell? I don't even remember what went on, but I heard. But Damon stayed back for some reaon.
They both got it was Alaric and Damon. They helped the sheriff, and then they both arrived at Bonnie together. And
oh yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Okay, continue.
And they get up there, and Bonnie goes, all right, you have to go through. And Damon goes, but I have to find Elena. And Bonnie goes, well, Elena's safe. You have to come back. And she grabs Alaric.
Yes.
Alaric goes through, and Damon has this little stupid moment where he says some comments that he's Damon. He's got to do that.
You know what?
And then he grabs Bonnie.
The thing is, there was like a time span of 5 minutes of them two, Bonnie and Damon, being stupid with each other, talking about absolutely fucking nothing not related to what was going on. And in that time frame, Luke decided, I'm just gonna, kick all these freaking candles over, make them go out, and then Damon doesn't get through. So you know what? It was Bonnie and Damon's fault.
I don't think it was 5 minutes. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration.
No, I swear to God, it felt like 5 minutes.
I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I think at the most, it was like 30 to 45 seconds.
I think my point is, they shouldn't have been talking, and Bonnie should have just got that shit done right away.
Yeah.
Because that was her fucking job, and she just failed.
Yeah.
Pissed me off. I'm like, fucking Gossip Girls here. Damon's being all like, I'd save the day, and she's like...
So instead of them...
And then they were talking.
Instead of them running to, like, try to find Luke and Liv, and cut them off before they disappeared into the night forever. Like, they didn't even send a scouting party to go see if they were nearby to find them. They just accepted the fact that Damon's fucked and Bonnie's fucked. They just accept it. What's up with that? They're not going to try to bring their friends back? Like, this is not the people I know. Like, if it was if it was Elena on the other side, don't you think Damon would have, like...
Oh, he would have been
running, looking for them immediately?
Yes, he would have been pissed, and he would have went on a rampage. And I think that's why it went that way, because they were mourning Bonnie and they were mourning Damon. Well, Elena was mourning Damon and everyone else was mourning Bonnie. Well, I mean, Stefan was probably mourning Damon as well. But I mean, they were mourning. At that point, nothing else mattered. Liv and Luke getting away was, it just didn't exist in their minds, because all they were doing was crying about their lost ones, because they were really dead. And they were not coming back. At that time, anyways.
Yeah. Damon, while Elena's being all mopey and crying and hiding in mausoleums and whatever she's doing, Damon ends up coming through, and even though she can't hear him, he ends up giving this really touching, genuine goodbye.
He even touched her face, and I think she felt it.
Yeah, she did feel that, the hair move, like that whole thing, but she couldn't hear what he was saying. It was a very sweet. It's weird coming out of me. A goodbye.
Don't choke on it.
I'm trying. I'm all no. But it was sprinkled with with Damon. It had the wisecracks, it had the humor, but it was still, it was this touching thing. And I hate making this connection because it's a show and they're acting and whatever. But I can't help but feel like Damon was pulling this, or Ian, I should say, was pulling this from his real life experience with the breakup with Nina.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling too, that the reason why the scene seemed so genuine, because it was.
Because everything that he was saying to Elena felt like something that Ian would have said to Nina, trying to part ways or whatever, or win her back, or whatever the case may be, because the relationship, it was more Nina than anything, that the reason why they separated, from the rumors anyway. I can't say specifically, I don't know the two of them personally by any means, so I can't say this is what happened, but from the way it was reported, it seemed like Ian wanted to be too serious, Nina's too young, there's a 10-year gap between them, and she wasn't ready for a full-time commitment, so it seemed like she pushed away. So I don't want to blame her and say it was her fault, because that's not necessarily true, but I'm saying she seemed like she was pushing away. Ian wanted to be with her, so it seemed like something Ian would have said to Nina, and I think that, like you said, that's what made it so genuine. But
yeah, I really didn't make that connection completely until you said, you started referencing like real life, and this is just a show. But I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that, I mean, he would say something like that probably without the wisecracks.
Yeah, without the Damon injected into the character. But we do know Ian is he likes to joke around a lot, and if you saw him at the Paley Fest panel, and stuff like that, like, he can't not say anything. He always has to inject something somewhere. Like, he can't just sit still and just listen. Somebody will be talking and they have the spotlight, and he cannot be not in the spotlight. He's got to say, even if it's a one-liner wisecrack, just to get the attention on him, even if it's for 1 second. Like, that's just who Ian is, but that's why we love him. So, rumor has it, there's a new rumor going around now, since we're on this topic. Ian and Nina are back together.
Okay.
Obviously, this would have happened after this scene was filmed, so I don't know if there was a little bit of this very genuine scene having anything to do with that either. So it's very interesting that it what is it, art imitates life, or life imitates art, whatever the case may be. It's just, it seems a little too coincidental for me. I hate making these comparisons on a show like this, but I'm not so invested in what celebrities are doing in their lives and stuff like that. I'm not that kind of person. I don't watch MTV reality shows, and I don't even know what a Kardashian looks like. All right, I could not identify one.
Isn't it some sort of like knitted sweater?
Yeah, something like that. I think. Regardless, I don't stay involved in that kind of stuff, but when I was looking up some information about the show to talk about, I stumbled across that, and I was like, that's kind of interesting, so I figured it's worth mentioning. It's a topic for you guys. Grams and Lexi, out of the whole group of people that we saw this episode, were the only two that didn't make it back, but these two found their peace. Right? Grams found her peace. She said, "I found my peace knowing you will find yours. Just know that I looked out for you." That's what Grams said to Bonnie before Grams wandered off and burst into light. So that got me thinking. With we had Bonnie, the whole thing. We'll get to the moment with them in a second, but Bonnie and she comes clean with Jeremy moments before this is about to go down, and we see Jeremy running up, which gets all the attention. All the cast is looking over at Bonnie, and her and Damon, which they can't see Damon, they can only see Bonnie. Her and Damon have this moment together. They hold hands. What was it they said? Bonnie goes, "There's probably a million other people that we'd rather be with right now," and Damon goes, "Maybe a couple hundred at most," or something like that. And Bonnie lets out this little chuckle, and that scene was kind of epic for me, because these are two people that hate each other.
I think Bonnie hated him less by the end of the season. But,
well, that's the point. It's like the character,
first met him.
The progression arc. But do you remember in season 1 how much she hated him? Like, she was trying to burn him at points multiple times. She like tried to set him on fire. One point, she actually did set him on fire
with her mind.
Yeah, and then he's just been a dick. Didn't he like kill her mother too, or something like that in the second season when she turned into a werewolf, or I mean a vampire? I thought he had. I don't remember for sure.
I think no. She got hurt, attacked by something, and Damon was the one who healed her, and then she came back after she died, and he was the one that
turned her. Okay, yeah.
He was the one who turned her.
So Bonnie hated him for that for a little bit, and they've had a rocky road. Ice cream.
Nom.
Nom nom nom. So, for the first time ever, we see the show fade to white. And we see the logo off a white background. Which, to me, seems like they found their piece.
Probably they didn't find it. It found them.
So, supposedly the other side is gone. We don't know for sure. We're kind of in this weird limbo thing. Damon gets cut off mid-sentence. Bonnie goes, do you think it's going to hurt? And he goes, I don't know. And that was it. It cut out. Yeah. And I was like, you can't do that. Julie, you can't do that.
Probably wasn't her call.
It was her call. This was an ending that she had envisioned during the season 3, I want to say. It was either season 3. I think it was season 3, 2 seasons ago. She envisioned this ending for season 5.
She said that?
Yes. It was either the end of season 3 or it was the beginning of season 4.
See, I'm on the opposite spectrum. You loved this ending. I despise this ending.
Okay, I don't like the ending because of where it left us. Immediately. I do like this ending for where it could leave us. Where it could lead us, I should say, next season.
I don't like it either way. I just, no.
Okay, so let's get into some speculation for next season. With the Travelers dead, does that mean the spell is actually broken in Mystic Falls?
Of course.
There was mention that the spell had been cast, and they did say in this episode, we don't know what's going to happen when the Travelers die.
Oh, that is true, yes.
So
I would say, like, because, their magic's all about range.
Right. I mean, we know the spell was cast and it stopped, and they've drawn the perimeters of it, so we know it's not still growing. It's not expanding outward anymore. The doppelgangers were killed and the spell has stopped, and they would need to recast the spell to start it again. So even though the 2 doppelgangers are back alive again, does not mean the spell is growing. It needs to be recast. If it is still where it is.
Yeah, and they'd have to have more Travelers to do this mass suicide shit.
But they're all dead.
But they're all dead.
All of the travelers are dead.
Every last one of them.
With the other side wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
Marco's disappeared. Sucked off into oblivion. So even if something was salvaged, we still don't know where he is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Mystic Falls might be a magic-free place right now.
I'm hoping it's magic-free and that, the spells are dependent on the travelers. Now that the travelers are gone, the magic is gone.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. I foresee the spell remaining until they find some way to undo it.
Ugh.
Which will make Mystic Falls a much safer place for the residents of Mystic Falls. There will be no vampires running around killing them all.
Well, I mean, the vampires, as far as like Stefan and Damon and Caroline and Elena go, they can't go home, but it didn't seem like they were causing much grief on the people of Mystic Falls, like as of now, anyways. In the beginning, yeah, Damon was a dick and Caroline was a little messy.
So here's my question though: they might be able to go home.
Mm-hmm.
If the magic border is still up, they might still be able to go home. Reason being, right? This is where takes an interesting turn. We see Tyler is no longer a hybrid. Does that mean the rest of them are now human again? Tyler came back, he cut himself. He didn't heal. He said he's no longer a hybrid. Tyler is now just a boy with the werewolf gene. He's not a hybrid anymore. He's human. He's not even a werewolf anymore. Okay? So, that means, I don't know if this is because Tyler died on the other side after everything was stripped off of him, which took all the powers on the other side, or if going from the other side and coming back removed his powers when he came back as well. So, what do you think? Do you think the rest of the cast are now human? Is Stefan human? Is Elena human? Caroline didn't die, so she would still be a vampire, but Stefan, Elena, Alaric, like, does that mean Alaric's an original again? If they came back and they're still supernatural, does that make Alaric still an original vampire? Or are they all human now? You see why I'm excited now? Because there's so much. There's possibilities now. We don't know where it's going. For sure Tyler, he's human. We know that for a fact. So he's human with the werewolf gene. So we already know we're going to have to deal with Tyler. He got a redo. He gets a redo. So basically, Tyler's going to have to control his anger again. He's going to have to try not to trigger the werewolf curse. He doesn't want to be a werewolf. Like, then he wouldn't have control over shifting. He'd have to shift every full moon again. That was something that was so painful for him. He got over it. Once he was so excited to become a hybrid, he didn't have to do that anymore. He's not going to want to be a werewolf.
Well, I mean, he cut himself and he didn't heal right away because he didn't have the vampire side of him anymore.
But werewolves heal as well.
They don't heal that fast. They take time to heal. They heal faster than humans. Well, a lot faster. But, I mean, a cut like that for a human would take days to even close up. For a werewolf, it would take less than 12 hours. For a vampire, almost instantaneously. So, I mean, he could still be a werewolf. Being that it's not a supernatural thing that can be removed. It's in his genes, and he already triggered it when he was alive.
Right, but no, he's dead, and he came back, and he was stripped of it all. So, Marcos did say he's no longer a hybrid, he's no longer a vampire, he's no longer a werewolf. He's just a boy with the gene.
Okay, so Marcos, he stripped it from him before he died. So yes, it seems like, yes, he would be a human.
Right.
As for the rest of them that came back, I have no idea.
I know, that's where this gets interesting. Because if they do lose all their powers, even if some of them did and some of them, depending on where they died, because we know that Damon and Elena crossed over, so technically, are they human or are they vampire? They died on the other side of the line. We don't know where if Damon's coming back, but wouldn't that make Elena human again? She died in the grill. The car was in the grill. He goes, Alara goes, "What are you wearing, your seatbelt?"
Yeah, charred skeleton is sitting in there with their seatbelt. Like, come on now.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler died, like, crossing the line. He was there for, like, a whole 20 seconds, and they took, like, a 5-minute car trip into the heart of it. So it's not like they're going from the middle outward trying to chase the spell away. They're going into the spell, getting closer to the heart of it. You would think that it would happen even faster.
Oh, my goodness.
You see why I'm so excited now? Because there's so much. This is why I'm saying, like, once we got talking about this, I think your opinion on certain aspects of this whole ending are going to change a little bit. Because
no, I still hate the ending. But this does, bring up questions that...
Yeah, it's interesting.
It really does... it's obviously making me think, because I'm, like, looking down and around. I'm, like... trying to
caught you off guard with that one.
Trying to figure out the logic behind what's going on, but I can't explain it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe if that is the case, I think Stefan is still a vampire. Elena, I don't think she is. Alaric may still be an original.
Makes sense.
If he's still original, though, does he still hate all the vampires? Does he still want it, or was that broken? Because
no,
Esther...
basically what I remember him saying that he figured that all out and came to terms with it in the 100th episode.
Okay. So, yeah. Good news is, despite all this, Alaric and Enzo have been confirmed to be series regulars next season.
I'm not so happy about Enzo, though.
Enzo has been such an interesting character. It started off, I hated him. By the end of it, I was really rooting for Enzo.
I don't know. I mean, he does bring the Damon back. The season 1 Damon. I mean, he has that, kind of crazy bit about him that makes it interesting. He's not all, like, in love and sappy like Damon is right now, but I mean, Damon still has his, interesting personality.
Right.
As far as, like, wisecracks and, jokes and things.
Right.
Enzo's just kind of a badass.
See, I think Enzo and Caroline had some of the best banter this whole season. Like, that road trip episode in particular, where they
because he was clearly interested, and he made it seem like he was flirting with her.
He was.
And she was trying to hide it so much that she was just coming off as the biggest bitch, and he was loving every second of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yes, there was that interesting, like, they had an interesting relationship, and she clearly does like him, but she's making it seem like she doesn't.
Right. So... I'm hoping that we get a little more... I'm hoping we get as much as I hate these, I hope we get a new love triangle. Caroline, Stefan, Enzo.
I don't know, now that Lexi told Stefan that he's being dumb and open up your eyes,
right.
He's going to go for it.
I think so.
But you know what? It's probably going to be like a figure 8 thing going on. Because Damon's gone, and Elena's like... Stefan's going to want to console her because they have that natural bond from, like, eons ago.
Well, no. Marcos shut that off.
Oh, he did shut he's still going to go and try and console her.
Yeah, because they're friends.
He still loves her.
They're still friends, but there's the doppelganger attraction that destined them to be together. It's gone. That does not exist anymore.
I forgot about that. But, yes. I mean, yes, he's her friend. He loved her once. He's going to try to console her. Caroline's gonna get freaking miffy with that, and he's still gonna, like, think about Caroline, and then Enzo's gonna be like, Caroline, and then Elena's gonna seek refuge in Stefan's arms.
So what you're telling me is Stefan is gonna friend zone Caroline?
I think Stefan's going to be completely confused with his emotions, and he's not going to intentionally go for both of them, but it's going to happen.
I don't know. I see Caroline having more trouble. I think Caroline is going to be conflicted between Stefan and Enzo, because we know Caroline does like the bad boy.
And Tyler is back, and they were hugging and so happy.
Yes.
Caroline has 3 boys.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna get messy.
Yeah. Really quickly.
Okay, this is awesome. I like this.
See, things are starting to shape up a little bit for season 6.
I'm excited for season 6.
Yes.
I still despise the ending.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I was not a fan of this past season. There's a few things that were redeeming. Enzo, I think, is probably the most redeeming of the entire season. Just getting that character, and Alaric, obviously, getting Alaric back.
Yes, thank
the
you.
most redeeming part of the season. But it's kind of a piss poor trade. Damon for Alaric, like, as much as I wanted Alaric back, not at Damon's cost.
Well, I think they said 2 for 1 deal. You know, they got rid of Bonnie, which is an alright character. I mean, sometimes I want to punch her in the face because she's a whiny.
How many times can Bonnie die? Like,
she can die as many times as she wants. It's
I stopped caring. She's dead. I got over it like 2 seasons ago.
There are some people who absolutely love her. Like, oh, I love Bonnie. She's a great character.
Oh, she is. Kat Graham is an amazing actress.
And then they put Damon in there, so they have like they're double teaming to get a Lark back. I don't know. I mean, why?
I don't know.
It's not supposed to happen that way.
No.
In the books, it goes completely different.
The books, you can't even follow the books for this. We'll get into that in a moment. We'll get into that in a moment. I have a few other tiny questions before we get to the books.
Okay.
With the other side gone, and supposedly now it's gone for good, there was an interview actually with Julie Plec who said the other side is gone for good. Right? She would not comment on what that meant for Bonnie and Damon, because she said that this is where there's supposed to be speculation and she's not just going to throw you the answer, which, as frustrating as that is, it makes sense. So
yes.
But how is this going to affect witches from here on out? They rely on spirit magic, and without the other side, there are no spirits.
Of course there is. There's still, not, like, there's still ghostly people out there, which are spirits.
I mean,
I think what happens is supernaturals don't go to their own realm now. They are free to wander the earth like the other spirits do.
But we haven't seen any other spirits in this universe.
Because we weren't looking for them.
Maybe. The only ghosts we've ever seen are the supernatural ghosts. And that's been from the other side. Which also means, without the other side, the Gilbert ring doesn't work anymore.
I like that. Because if Matt dies, I'm going to be happy, because he's a stupid character that doesn't need to be in this series anymore. He should have died seasons ago.
You know that's going to come up. We're going to see somebody, be it Matt or someone else, is going to die with the ring on. They're going to be like, it's okay, and then be like, oh no.
And I'm going to laugh.
So, I actually like Matt.
No. He seems like a useless character to me. Like, he's there to serve people coffee. He's like the intern that's, interns eventually level up and get promoted, but I don't see that ever happening for Matt. He's going to be serving drinks and burgers for the rest of his fucking life on that show.
What do you mean? He just blew up the only place that would hire him.
He's going to find another place to serve burger and fries.
He even said that to Jeremy. He goes, are we out of our minds? We're blowing up the only place that was willing to hire us. So, yeah. I don't know. But I forgot to mention before, Lexi, like, she found her peace, her redeeming thing. She saved everybody, Stefan especially, from Marcos. Like, that's how she found her peace. But, anyway. Ooh, excuse me. So last season,
wait. What? And Bonnie tricked Silas, and she's like,
"Oh yeah,
bitch, you be gone," and he was like, "Wee."
Yeah, he's just, you just see him fly off. That was great. But last season, when Bonnie died, Jeremy became obsessed with finding a way to bring her back. This time, everybody knows. It's not like last time where Jeremy was the only one that knew Bonnie was gone. This time, everybody knows that Bonnie and Damon are gone. They're dead,
Yes.
whatever. They disappeared, the other side, whatever. How do you think each of the individual characters are going to react to this? Like, Stefan just lost his brother and his ex-girlfriend's best friend. What kind of mood do you think he's going to be in?
He's going to be helpful. He's, of course, he's going to be, punching through, motivated to find a way to get his brother back. And getting Bonnie back seems like it's a package deal. So he's going to be working like he normally would if he had to get someone back. As far as Bonnie goes, anyways, he's going to work just as hard to get her back because Damon's in the same boat. Right. Elena, same deal. She wants Damon back and she wants Bonnie back, so she's going to be just as motivated. Caroline wants Bonnie back. She doesn't really give a shit about Damon. She's said many times during the season that Damon is bad for Elena. But because of the package deal, she's going to work just as hard. Jeremy, Bonnie, doesn't really like Damon, but package deal, same thing. Tyler,
Jeremy wants his girlfriend back too.
That's what I said. He wants Bonnie, package deal. So those four are really motivated. Now you get to Jeremy. He could care less about Damon. And, Bonnie was an all right friend. So I don't think he's going to be super motivated unless, Caroline's on his ass the whole time.
But any of the ones you previously mentioned, do you think they're going to be in so there's different stages of grief where there's the acceptance where you accept they're gone. Do you see any of those characters being like, they're gone, like I can't do anything about it, that's it?
No. I don't think any of them. So you think
they're all skipping that stage and going straight into denial?
Yeah. They're in denial right now. You see Elena, she's bawling her face off because she's sad. She's sad as fuck. She's going to go straight into being like, let's get them back right frickin' now. And because she's going to be so gung-ho to do it, everyone else is going to follow because they want to be good friends. Because at the same time, they don't want her feeling any more depressed than she is because she might go rip her on their asses. We have seen her go kind of crazy before. She might get even worse this time.
Yeah, I don't know. I see Stefan going into denial. Like, I don't think he's going to try to find any way to save him. Like, I think he is gonna be that they're gone, and he's just gonna shut down. That's what I see Stefan.
It's possible. And I think we have different definitions of denial for this. Like, denial. Mine is denial that you can never get them back. Like, denial that you can't get them back. You're saying Stefan's going into denial that he's accepting.
I meant to say acceptance. I said denial.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
Okay. So there we go. Yeah. So he's in acceptance. He's accepting that they're not gone. But I think he's
accepting that they are gone.
Yeah, they are gone. But I think he's going to be on the boat where, Elena doesn't want to think that. And he's going to be like, I want to be a good friend. Because, Caroline's going to try, too.
See, I see Elena also going into the acceptance that they're gone. Like,
if you don't have one of those characters going into denial and wanting to get those people back, where the hell is this season going to go? Jeremy's not that big of an influence.
Jeremy's not going to give up trying to get Bonnie back. He's not going to.
But he might not give up, but in the end, he'll just give up his life to bring her back if nobody else helps him. Somebody has to help him, and it's one of the big players, Elena or Stefan. And if one of those characters, like if, say, Elena starts helping her brother, Stefan's going to start helping. If Stefan's like, yeah, I'll help you, Elena's going to be like, yeah, I should probably get on that ride too.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a dominoes effect.
Well, what about Alaric?
Alaric, he probably would want to get Damon back. Probably not to the extent where, he's not going to ever stop. But I think he wants him back.
I think Alaric's going to be in a boat of his own. I don't think he's going to be really too invested in this because The last time Alaric was alive, he was under a spell from Esther. He's never been alive and having to deal with being a vampire.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to see this for the first time and see Alaric coming to terms with the fact that he is a vampire. And not only is he a vampire, he is an original vampire.
So to say. Yeah.
If they're not all human, that is.
If they're not all human. But then again...
I'm under the impression that he is going to be an original. That's the impression I'm under.
A super juiced vampire, so to speak. Yeah, that makes sense that, he's got to come to terms. You know what? It might even come to a crossover with the originals because of what he is and knowing that, take off your headphones, turn off your speakers or whatever. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. That Esther is back and she might have some sort of, play within like a crossover, Alaric and Esther crossing over the originals, and it might be a bigger crossover than we think. Might have more interplay. I mean, we know that each episode of Vampire Diaries and originals, each week they were in the same timeline each week.
Right.
It might be more intertwined now.
I could totally see that too. So, but you can come back now, people.
Yeah.
So, Enzo, I don't think he's going to be too heavily involved in this. He seemed like he beelined it out of there. He was off on his own.
He was like, bitches, I'm out.
But the fact that he's been announced that he's going to be a series regular, we're going to see him. He's going to be involved in some capacity. But probably not with that. Maybe bringing Damon back. Maybe. I don't know. But he's got no ties to Bonnie, I don't think.
No. I mean, they did have some banter back and forth over the last couple episodes trying to figure out how to get back.
But there was a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's only because he needed her. That was the only reason.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And
Sheriff Forbes, I guess, is the only last even supporting... Well, Matt. I guess I forgot about Matt. But Matt and Sheriff Forbes are kind of in the same boat.
They kind of are. I mean... Matt wants to bring Bonnie, would probably want to bring Bonnie back, and I think the sheriff...
She wants Damon back.
She wants Damon back. I mean, they seem like they're pretty chummy.
Yeah.
For, they had an interesting relationship, those two. It was, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah. Okay, so this leaves us to our final topic, which is... Oh, well, hold on, before that. Well, Oh, no, we kind of answered that, the witch magic. That's what I was going to bring up in our originals podcast, was
Right.
How does that affect spirit magic now with the Harvest Girls and all this stuff, but they kind of tied up the Harvest Girls and stuff too.
Yeah.
So...
And also the spell only reached so far, right? Oh, wait.
No, the other side is
the other side.
Indefinitely gone. It's not localized. Yeah. That's gone, but... The other spell is localized.
Maybe the ancestors are on a different plane. They seem kind of like they would be different.
I don't know. I was under the impression that it functioned like Grams did, where Grams was on the other side, and...
Was Grams part of a coven, though?
I thought she was.
When she was younger, yeah?
I thought she was because, remember when Bonnie went to that house in, what was it, season 2?
Oh, yeah.
And the witches were all mad for bringing Jeremy back from the dead. This was like the first time, and then Jeremy started seeing Anna and had the ghost relationship with Anna and all that. Like, the ancestors were mad. And Grams was part of that.
I don't know. It seems like you would have expected that some of Bonnie's other ancestors would have stepped up and said, shit's going down. But...
I'm yelling timber.
Don't start that.
That's 2 times. Snuck 2 songs into these podcasts tonight.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay, so the discussion for the books. All right.
Yes.
We are done with the rest of the podcast. So if you don't want to hear what happens in the books, leave. You can follow us down here, Phenomenodom and Lady Venom 24 on the Twitters. Follow us on tvcaptive.com, as well as ASOTV podcast on Facebook, Gmail, G+, YouTube, and Twitter. So go do that and leave if you don't want to hear about the books. Get out of here.
If you don't want any spoilers, possible spoilers, it's probably best if you just kind of, go.
Why are you still here? Go. That's the last warning. Get out. All right. Okay, if you're still here, that means...
You're a wonderful host.
I am. So that means if you're still here, then we're spoiling the books.
You had your glass of punch, now get the fuck out.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so now...
Sorry.
In the books, at one point, when Elena turns into a vampire, I believe she ends up dying. I don't remember if she becomes human again. I didn't read the books. This all summary cliff note kind of things or whatever, so I'm really fuzzy on the details. But I do know for a fact she turns into a vampire. She either becomes human again and dies, or dies as a vampire and comes back as an angel. Okay. Which is what you now were talking about in the pre-show with me. That there's a possibility that after they found their peace, Damon, Bonnie, Grams, and Lexi, and Anna, and whoever else, from previous times that we've seen this happen to, may now be angels. Which would be an interesting twist. Instead of Elena, but we also know in the books, I believe it's actually the most recent book that came out. I believe there's still one or two more books that are not out yet that are in the plans. But Stefan dies, and he's dead.
Dead.
And Elena and Damon are together. So that whole doppelganger attracted thing, out the window. I don't even know if that was even a thing in the books. But, yeah, so it would be an interesting twist. Instead of Elena coming back as Angel, that they would do Damon.
Which would be kind of lame, because he's so awesome being who he is.
Right. But if it's anything like another show on the CW that deals with angels, might not be the type of angel people expect it to be.
Angel of death.
The show Supernatural, angels are not exactly depicted in the best light. So
no.
They could be pretty malevolent, if that's even the right word.
Yeah, but they're kind of as far as references go to media and things of the human world, they have no fucking idea, and that's where Damon has a complete heads up. Damon has seen things.
Yep, we do know that Ian Somerhalder and Kat Graham will be involved in season 6. It's been confirmed.
Good.
We don't know what capacity. It could be flashbacks. It could be anything. There's so many different ways that they could go with those characters. But they will still be in the show.
I don't know. I really don't have a clue where it could be going.
Rumors started flying that because of the initial breakup with Nina and Ian, that Ian left the show and did this, and
whatever.
He's
too professional for that shit.
People were saying that because we had mentioned a few episodes ago that Damon also said that if Enzo was killed off, he was walking off the show, and so there was like, okay, well, Enzo's dead, Elena, and probably, okay, I'm gonna go now, but that's not the case. That's not Ian. Ian's not gonna do that. He loves this character way too much. You
Yeah,
even see
he's
when you're at the
invested.
panels, he loves this character.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if they follow the books at all, like even to the slightest, Damon is one of the characters that lasts. He's still in the final book, or whatever the final book is right now. He's still in it. There's a few more books coming out still. But, it's a character that goes on. So, can't really have the show without him. You could have killed off Stefan and never seen him again, and I probably would have been okay with that.
The show would go on without him.
It would.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Wesley is a great actor. I do
He
like
is.
Paul. I don't want him to be dead and gone and off the show by any means, but unfortunately, the show could carry on without him.
He's a pretty decent director too, so
He
if he
is.
got booted off the show, he could have just directed it.
Yeah, that one episode that he directed, which was the episode where you saw him and Elena living human lives and stuff like that, which would be very interesting if is the twist where they are all human now, that was kind of a precursor to all of this. But yeah, that was the episode he directed, and I think that was done amazingly.
It was a very good job.
So I don't know. You were going into this podcast here with the fact that you hated this episode and anger, bitch, rage. I think your outlook is a little bit different now. A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was left completely in the dark to me. I mean, yeah, the show ended with a big bright light, but I was like, where the f are they gonna go with this?
Right.
Come on now, you stupid I was so mad.
Right.
I mean, Mike even, like, kind of, like, got up and he was like, out of the room, like, this is too much for me.
Just shifted off.
Mad. Yeah, he was, like, out the door, he's just slimy, kind of slinking, like, I'm not gonna die today.
Yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think of the ending now? Now that we've talked about it,
I still think it's piss poor. I really do. But I mean, if you didn't bring up the questions, I would have still been raging. But knowing that there are so many things that could possibly come the next season, just because they left shit the way that they did, is interesting. I'm not excited, but I'm interested.
I'm more interested in this season than I have been this whole last season.
It's very true.
So,
but you know what?
The Travelers are gone. I'm happy.
Season 4 was really great, and you went into it going, "Oh, I'm so excited for season 5." And then at the very beginning of season 5, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And then The Travelers, and it's like, where's the spork?
Yeah.
Where is my spork? I need to spoon out my eyes and stab at the same time.
Well, I don't even know if I was super excited going into this season. I know I was excited going from season 3 to season 4. Right? Yeah, because that's when season 3 to 4 was when Elena first turned into the vampire. Season 4 to 5 was, they ended with Bonnie being dead. I know Alaric was there. Everybody was there. And I was excited about Alaric, but I didn't really know how I felt about Silas. And I don't think I was too excited to go into this season.
Silas was an interesting twist to me. I liked how, they'd go back.
The Cure was the most interesting part of the potential of this season.
Yeah.
But
that was concluded pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, it was. I think it was concluded the end of last season, so it wasn't even going into this season. But
yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
Catherine
because Catherine took it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that was the only part I was interested in was Catherine. Catherine's been one of my favorite characters outside of Damon. Yeah, Catherine's been my favorite. So, with Catherine gone, we don't know. Is Catherine gone? That's the thing. She was dragged off to hell.
Okay.
Which is what you guys have been saying the whole time.
Yeah, I totally think that everyone that went whoosh went to hell.
So.
Or some other plane that's not... It's kind of like the place you go before hell. Not
the
limbo.
other side is gone, so if she didn't go somewhere else, she's gone.
Nah, there's always a place to go.
And I know Julie has stated that she already has the end. She already knows exactly the final scene for the last episode of the Vampire Diaries. But she said it's going to have to be modified now, because the final scene involved a ghost. She said with the other side gone, they have to rework it. Just a smidge. So, who that ghost ends up being is unknown. She said it also depends on who's still on the cast at that point, who's willing to come back if they're not on the cast at that point, and all that, but she more or less has the final scene. So that also brings us to the question of how many more seasons do you think we're getting out of this show?
If they keep up with the books and they have enough followers and fans and things, I think they could probably go until the very last story in the very last book. If they want to keep, going the same pace, basically.
Right. They've been doing stuff in the shows, like Klaus, I think, was the only of the originals that was in the books, but I don't think he was even the capacity of which, like, they tied a whole bunch of stuff, like the bloodlines and all that, like the originals being the master of the bloodline. I don't even believe any of that was in the books. I believe all these side tangents and stuff that they've been doing have just been completely separate from the books, and they've only gone by the main Elena's a vampire. Elena's that I think is the only thing that they've really been following. All the side, like, extra stories I don't believe whatsoever have been followed. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read them. But, how many seasons did True Blood go?
5. This is their 5th season coming up here.
This is True Blood's 5th?
Mm-hmm.
And Vampire Diaries just finished their 5th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Vampire Diaries is already going one more season than True Blood did, and True Blood was way more popular than Vampire Diaries when it started.
Mostly because of HBO being behind it, and it grabbed a lot of more of the adult viewers. I mean, heck, my mom, I remember I watched some of the first season of True Blood, and I was like, oh, Mom, you gotta watch this with me. Come on. So my cousin's girlfriend let me borrow the first season on DVD. I started watching it in the vicinity where she was at, and she was hooked from the first sex scene, which was in the first 10 minutes of the first episode. And she is one of their biggest fans, I'd say.
Yeah. So this show's already surpassed True Blood.
Mm-hmm.
And did True Blood start before this show or after it? It had to have started after.
Yeah. After.
Yeah, it must have been a year after. I don't know. I think Julie said she'd like it to go to season 7. But
it depends.
I believe she was also quoted as Warner Brothers, who's in charge of the CW, would like it to go to like season 17. I think she was exaggerating with that number, but
that sounds like an exaggeration.
Yeah. So I could see it going to the typical CW series of like 10. Like Supernatural is coming into its 10th season, and it potentially could be its last. We don't know.
We really don't know.
I don't see it going over 10, though. I think 10 is the absolute most that the series can last.
I think with Vampire Diaries going to 10, they'd have to squeeze every little bit of content out as they could. They'd be really reaching to get to 10, in my opinion. I mean, I will eat my words if it happens to get to a 10th season, and it's fantastic.
Would you like ketchup or mustard with that?
Neither. I don't want anything.
Can I make ketchup and mustard rain on you?
Not unless it is hot dogs.
Oh, perfect.
I'm kidding. I don't want nothing with my words. Thank you.
Okay.
Glass of water.
Yeah, I think 10 is, even stretching it, I think 10 is the most that they can get out of it. Any more, I think it's not happening.
Yeah, like I said, they'd be reaching.
Yep. So, I think that about does it. This show has gone on long enough. We've talked about everything there is to talk about. And I think now we brought up hot dogs, and now we're really just stretching ourselves. So, let's close this show again for the second time. Omikins, where can the people find you?
They can find me on the Twitters. Whoa. Losing depth perception here. On the Twitters. At LadyVenom24. At LadyYVenom24.
Keep rolling, 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 roll. What? No, never mind. So you can find me down below. I got 3. PHENOMEDOM. You can find me Phenomenon on Twitter. You can find us both and others on tvcaptive.com, as well as on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. With the fall shows wrapping up, I believe we have one more fall show podcast for you guys, which will be the Supernatural finale, which hopefully we will get done within the week. Outside of that, a few different things. Movies coming up, and probably another TV series or so for the summer, but
possibly
probably going to be a light summer for us. So probably won't see us again hardcore until the fall.
Till the fall.
And hopefully we'll be picking up some new shows. Might change things up. Maybe dropping a few. Who knows? We'll see. Till next season.
Sure.
See you guys later. Jeez, how long did that show go for?
A long time.
And then some.
How
long can we let it go? Let it go. Let it go. That's 4.
Shut that shit down right now.